Ordinarily, I might be pushing her a little bit.
Okay, we're on the,
Yeah, I know.
okay, we're on the record in cause number 326274. The case is styled, the state of Texas versus Tyron Lazay Williams. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Williams?
I'm doing okay.
That's good. Mr. Paget, you have an announcement you'd like to make in Mr. Williams'
We
case?
need the case placed on the plea docket, Your Honor.
Okay, you just need a standard reset?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, just hold on for you. You say July 12th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's gonna be reset to July 12th, 2021. Mr. Paget, you can get your reset from our court coordinator. Okay, and Mr. Williams, once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Okay.
Coning is not here. Oh, that's a jail case. That's on Coning, that person, well, let me do this here. I'm sure that's gonna be reset. Mhm. Yeah. Monica Joe?
She's present, Judge.
Okay. Good morning. We're on the record in cause number 328298. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Monica Marie Joe. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Joe?
Okay.
That's good. Ms. Joe, you're represented here by Attorney Nathan Reynolds. Attorney Reynolds, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Mr. Reynolds, you'd like to make an announcement in Ms. Joe's case?
Yes, sir, Judge. We've received discovery and a plea offer, and we'd like to ask this case to be placed on the trial.
Okay, just hold on for your trial date. You know. Ms. Smith, are you available?
I'm sorry, Judge, you calling me?
Yes, Monica Joe on announcement docket, reset on the trial docket, is that correct?
Okay, hold on one second. October the 11th, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Joe, your case is gonna be reset for trial October the 11th. The attorney is gonna get the reset. Once he gets the reset from our court coordinator, um, you'll be free to go. Okay, just have a seat in the gallery. Okay, and you have a blessed day, Ms. Joe. Oh, Mr. Reynolds,
Yes, sir.
you had another case, two cases, on a Bradley Conning, that's 325-077 and 328-093. Apparently, he's in jail and he has some felony cases.
He does. If we could maybe reset this after his, I don't know when his felony court is.
Okay, get what his felony date is June 16, 2021.
If we could maybe reset this for the week after that.
Okay.
Judge, I can't hear.
Oh, what I was saying, Bradley Conning, he's a gentleman that's in jail. That's one of Mr. Reynolds' clients. His felony court date is set for June 16, 2021. Mr. Reynolds want the misdemeanor case is set at least a week after the felony court dates. He's gonna come in the back to get his resets. Okay, you can go to the office.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
name.
Did you get your discovery certification?
You just can't trust me with
My,
important things.
My discovery portal is asking for the first time ever for you.
On the record in cause number 328374, case of South State of Texas versus Philip Blanco. Mr. Blanco, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Blanco, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Blanco, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Blanco?
Good.
That's good. Mr. Blanco, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Ryan Gertz. Mr. Gertz, how are you doing?
Great, Judge, thank you.
Mr. Blanco, the information in this case alleges that on or about October 25th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon while engaging in criminal activity. Mr. Blanco, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
My tablet is acting up. And to this charge, okay, Mr. Blanco, how do you plead? Guilty? Not guilty or no contest? Guilty?
Yes, sir.
Man. Okay, here we go. Mr. I got it. Mr. Blanco, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Blanco, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. You recognize this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Blanco, there are a set of initials on the line that's titled guilty.
Yes.
Did you initial this
Yes,
document?
Your Honor.
On the next page of the same document, there's a signature at the top of this document above the line that says defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that your signature? Okay. Also, I have before me another document which is titled Trial Court Certification, the Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that your signature above the line that says defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You got it. Discovery certification.
I do, Judge.
Mr. Blanco, I have another document before me. This document is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your signature on the line that says defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Blanco, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection, Judge.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Gertz, you've advised and counsel Mr. Blanco. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Judge.
Mr. Blanco, your attorney, Mr. Gertz, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Blanco, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Let me do this too right quick. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. It's for 1 year deferred probation and a $400 fine. And regarding any forfeiture of the weapon, I believe the defense has submitted an affidavit demonstrating of the ownership of another individual.
Correct, Judge.
Okay, so you're saying
It's
regarding,
the forfeiture, there's no forfeiture.
so you're not forfeiting the weapon, that's what you're
correct.
saying?
That's correct.
Okay,
And Judge, there's another, it's already been done, so it didn't need to be a part of this paperwork, but there was a felony associated with this that the state has already dismissed in the 252nd.
okay, so you're saying that this is not part of this,
Well, it's already been done, so it didn't need to be part of this paperwork, but I'm just letting the court know that the state has
okay.
complied.
Okay, now, let's see. Okay, let me ask you this here. Now, so the offer is 1 year deferred adjudicated probation, a $400 fine plus court costs. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
And now pursuant to Article 18.91 subsection D or section D, it basically states that a person either convicted or received deferred adjudication under Chapter 46, in which this case is entitled to the weapon seized upon request to the court in which the person was convicted or placed on deferred adjudication. However, the court entering the judgment shall order the weapon destroyed, sold at public sale by the law enforcement agency holding the weapon or by an auctioneer licensed under Chapter 1802 Occupational Code, or forfeited to the state for use by the law enforcement agency holding the weapon or by a county forensic laboratory designated by the court if, number 1, the person does not request the weapon before the 61st day after the date of judgment of conviction or the order placing a person on deferred adjudication. 2, the person has been previously convicted under Chapter 46. 3, the weapon is 1, defined as prohibited weapon under Chapter 46 Penal Code. 4, the offense for which the person is convicted or received deferred adjudication was committed in or on the premises of a playground, school, video arcade facility, or youth center as those terms are defined by Section 481.134 Health and Safety Code, or number 5, the court determines based on the prior criminal history of the defendant or based on the circumstances surrounding the commission of the offense that the possession of the seized weapon would pose a threat to the community or on or one or more individuals. So I don't think you, based on this here, you can't plea bargain the authority that the court has. And the only thing I'm saying is we have to go through this checklist,
Right.
is what I'm saying.
And
Okay, do you understand that?
I do, Judge.
Okay, so let me do this here. Okay, so he's not let's say the person does not request, so we're talking about the person in possession. So he'll be requesting the weapon back.
We can do it that way, but the reason the state agreed and Ms. Malfino agreed to it is because the weapon belongs to someone else.
I understand that.
But yes, so we can meet criteria 1, and criteria 2 through 5 don't apply to the facts of this case.
Okay, well,
So it's not an unlawful weapon. He doesn't have a previous conviction for anything. He has no criminal history.
well, 5 is a little different.
I'm sorry?
5 may be a little different. You say 1, he doesn't meet 1 through 5.
Well, no, number 1 is just, he has to ask for it within 60 days. So,
Yeah.
so that criteria doesn't,
Okay,
that's not a prohibitive criteria. 2, 3, and 4 are all things that don't apply to him
Okay.
sort of on the face.
okay.
5,
4 to 5 does apply. Well, doesn't apply because the court determines based on the prior criminal history of the defendant. So he doesn't have
any
a criminal history. Okay, so but the other part said, based on the circumstances surrounding the commission of the offense, that the possession of the seized weapon would pose a threat to the community or one or more individuals. So the facts and circumstances, what are the facts and circumstances of the offense?
Your Honor,
He passed a vehicle in the shoulder and he was pulled over for reckless driving. And then when they decided to make an arrest for reckless driving, they searched the vehicle and found the vehicle. There was no intoxication, there was no crime of violence.
Okay,
It
okay,
was
Let me
literally passing a vehicle on the shoulder that was going too slowly.
okay. Let me, what the court is gonna do, gonna take judicial notice of the court's file, and in the court's file is the probable cause affidavit. So let me look at the probable cause affidavit right quick. He was he charged with tampering?
Yes, Judge, the allegation was that he threw something, they didn't know what, but that he threw something out of a window.
Yeah,
If you watch the video, the officer spends about 30 minutes trying to find a piece of litter that he can then blame Mr. Blanco for throwing out of his window. Ms. Malfino and I both looked at the video, found it ridiculous, and that's why the felony was dismissed.
okay, yeah, they don't.
He found a paper bag with in a ditch that had water in it, found a paper bag with a can, and then came up with the idea that somehow Mr. Blanco had thrown the can out the window when he was getting pulled over.
Okay, okay,
But again,
okay. Okay, So this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find, based on the probable cause affidavit in the court's file, as well as the statements that has been made, that based on the circumstances around the commission offense, that the possession of a seized weapon would not pose a threat to the community or one or more individuals. Okay.
Good, thank you, Judge.
So let me do this. Okay. So Mr. Blanco, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. And during that 1 year deferred adjudicated probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $400 plus court costs of $292. Now, the total fine and court costs is $692. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month and a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. The total monthly installments that you would have to pay in this case is $140 a month. Mr. Blanco, would you be able to pay the $140 each month?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, the state, you're not ordering any community service in this case, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And the state is waiving the community service in this case. And you would also have to adhere to the other standard terms and condition of probation. Mr. Blanco, do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Blanco, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now, Mr. Blanco, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Blanco, if you successfully complete the deferred probationary period, this case will be dismissed and you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, Mr. Blanco, there's an X where your attorney is standing. You're going to stand on that X and you're going to follow the directions of our court clerk. Once you finish in here, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, you're welcome. Who else, please? Philip.
I'll see about it. Mr. Garcia. Straight to probation, here's a map. And they ask that you call from the parking lot, so they'll let you know what time your appointment time you can come in.
Okay.
Okay?
Where is the? I don't see the. Mr. Erickson and Miss Maxey. Miss Maxey,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Eric.
Yes, sir.
I see here, I was looking at the tablet. It has obstruction. I don't see, did y'all refile the obstruction case?
Yes, Your Honor. It was refiled
Oh,
as an
hold-
obstruction case.
Hold on, let me see. Let me refresh it. It wasn't on the.
If you're looking for a case they just refiled, you're not gonna find it because I don't have that information.
Oh, okay. All right, just hold on a minute.